So tell me, who are you?
My name is Jeff Ralston, aka Jeff the Writer. Who am I? I'm a man, I'm a black man, I'm a Torontonian. Um, I choose to define myself. I don't like other people defining me. And that's pretty much it.
What is it that you love, and how do you incorporate it into what you do?
I would say my three biggest loves are, and I'll say them in order that they came into my life. The first would be basketball. Um, that was my whole life for a lot of years. People still walk up to me and that's the first thing they ask if they haven't seen me in a while. Do you still play ball? But the next thing was hip hop, not just the music, but hip hop overall, because that's incorporated into my writing as well. Just the style of living and basically what it represents. Like I like to say things like that ain't hip hop, or that's so hip hop. That's what I do. And the other big love is Toronto, the city. I was born here. I've lived most of my life here, except for 4 years that I went away to school. And pretty much every goal I have is tied to Toronto. If I go somewhere else to make my goals happen, to me that's like cheating. You haven't made it unless you've made it here. So whatever I want to be, whatever I want to accomplish, I want to do it here in Toronto and for Toronto.
All right. That kind of answers the next question that I had, which was, what do you represent? So again, you said basketball, hip hop, and Toronto. So are you part of any specific organizations?
I do work with young people, and one thing I tell them whenever we go anywhere, and this is for myself, but I tell them because I live by it myself. I represent myself, and I represent my family, and I represent my people, and of course I represent my city. So I try to represent myself in a way that obviously is positive, but whenever I step out my door, I still think about my parents, about my brothers, about my extended family, how they would feel hearing about whatever it is that I'm involved in. Would they be proud? Would they not feel so hot about it? So I definitely represent my family, I represent my people, I represent my city.
All right. So when were you first introduced to poetry and writing, and what would you say that it means to you?
I was a kid that could read very young. I think I was about 3 years old. So I've been reading forever, and I've been writing forever. I credit my dad with a lot of it because my house was full of books, so I read. So I've been reading and writing since I can remember, pretty much before my memories even begin. Poetry was, you know what, I never really liked poetry. I remember liking Shel Silverstein. I think we had his books in school when I was a little kid, and for some reason I liked his poetry because it was for kids and it was fun. But I never really liked poetry until I heard spoken word, probably for the first time. And I'm not a spoken word artist, I always call myself a written word artist. But the first times I remember hearing spoken word poetry and thinking, even if I just wrote that down or came up with my own and wrote it and didn't perform it, it would be hot. I remember a Kanye West song with Jay-Z on it, Never Let You Down, that had a hot spoken word piece on it. I forget who it's by. Also the Common song, The Corner, has some dope spoken word on it. Going back, I remember this song and I didn't even realize it was spoken word, but Outkast has a song called Spodioti Dopalicious. It's so dope. And so those are kind of what inspired me maybe to get into poetry or to like it in the first place. Going to Rise Poetry in Scarborough, their weekly open mic, really got me into writing my own stuff on the LRT on the way home, typing into my phone, trying to finish it before I got off at Lawrence East Station kind of thing. So yeah, writing. I also write short stories. I hope to write a novel one day. I was a journalist. Maybe still I am a journalist and a blogger. So I love writing. Definitely short stories and poetry is my favorite writing to do.
And what would you say the importance of it is? Like, what does it mean to you?
Oh man, it can be, I've gotten to the point where I can't go a day without writing something. It can help you get through down times. It can be a coping mechanism for a lot of things. Just that form of self-expression, even on a good day, it just takes my day from, you know what I mean, from down here to up there. So it's definitely self-expression. What it really means to me is that I feel like someone has to tell our stories. When you read about all the culture in Toronto, how diverse it is and all this stuff, You don't really hear our stories, you don't see our stories. Besides things like Caravana, it's almost as if they think we make no contribution to the city. So I want to tell our stories. I want to be a part of that, along with a lot of other great people that are telling our stories through art, through film, through music, etc. I want to be a part of, showing all of Toronto, not just one narrow little part. So it means a lot. That's for sure.
Awesome. So if you could tell me about your poem and also how it relates to the changes that you would like to see happen in the world for 2014.
I think that in terms of both friendships, relationships, every kind of social interaction that we have, I think we put we put too much expectations on it. Put too many expectations on it. I think we're swayed by whether it's TV shows, movies, music, romance novels, porn even. I think that we're going about this the wrong way. I'm not going to say women are going about it the wrong way, men are going about it the wrong way, or young people, old people. I think that my poem is kind of my plan for how I think whether it's my next relationship or my last relationship will go or will start. And I think people should try this way instead of, the games that we see involved in love and friendships and everything else. The whole I do something for you, you do something for me. I guess it just it makes me sad looking at some friends and family members and what they're going through. People that I meet every day that spill out their heart. People I don't even know them, and they're spilling out their heart to me and their pain. So I guess this is what I'm going to try to do in 2014 and onward. I guess I wanted to share it with the world. Maybe they'll try it too. It's untested. It's not like I'm any expert on love or relationships or anything like that. This is probably one of the first poems I've ever even written about the subject. But, it's been brewing in my head for a while, and it came out this way.
All right. So do you see this being possible, and how do you see us making these changes?
I think it's definitely possible. I think any change that you want to make takes effort. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. I think the way we've been as a people, as young people, even as a city, the way we've treated our relationships has been the easy way in terms of let's do what we've always done. So I think these changes are possible, but I think it's not easy. And I think anything that you want as positive is going to be difficult and requires a bunch of effort. Yeah, for sure.
So how do you see us, what specific effort are you talking about? What should we do to make these changes happen?
I guess what I try to say in my poem is that let's build a foundation in terms of let's be friends. Let's build from that as opposed to falling in love. So it's almost like if you're going to fall in love with your heart, that's awesome, great. But fall in love with your mind too. Think about things because I'm sure that kind of love feels just as good when you've actually chosen the person you want to be with and they've chosen you and you know it, and it's not just because of love at first sight or emotion or anything physical.
Okay, and lastly, before I thank you for all of your time and your insight, how do you try to make changes in the world? It doesn't even have to relate to your poem, just in general.
I would hope that one day my writing changes the world. That would be awesome, but that would require me to have a huge audience and quite a bit of success. So I hope I get there. For now, I like to make change both in terms of every person I meet. I try to be a positive person. That's been a long journey. I think I was once a very negative person. So now I'm a positive person. I try to improve everyone's day that I see. But I've also dedicated my career to helping others, starting with kids. I work with young people. That same positivity, I try to pour it on them, and I hope they spread it out to the world as well.
Awesome. So thank you very much for sharing your resolution with us through your poetry and your words, and we look forward to sharing your voice with the world. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.